It's cold now and going to be even colder tonight. The forecast is for temperatures to be below freezing. And that's the perfect time to use the frost seeding technique. Frost seeding simply means you're going to spread seed, and when the ground freezes, of course, it heaves and opens up and shuts back, and that helps bury small seed like clover. Clover is a small, hard seed, and it won't be impacted by the cold temperatures. It'll germinate and then grow when it gets warmer. So it's perfect conditions to spread some clover seed on this little hidey-ho food plot. And I'm gonna plant this with clover. We've drilled it in the past. There's so many trees and so rocky, it's just not good to drill. And a great technique is using a hand spreader and spread some seed. I'm gonna plant Eagle Seed's top 5. They're all annual clovers, which is great. Annual clovers grow much quicker than a perennial clover. I can get some food up here quickly. Gobblers love to get up here and strut, holler off this high point and listen. Now it's so rounded, it's kind of tough, but if I know they're coming here, I can set up a few yards back where it's a little flatter, bring that tom right on in. But for early season bow hunting, this would be great because right on top of the mountain, the wind blows one way or another. It's not hitting something and causing it to swirl like eddies in the water, hitting a stone or something and making an eddy going the current the different way. So this would be ideal turkey hunting and early season bow hunting. What we're preparing now is going to make great hunting for the future. I've got an acre's worth of seed, but I'm going to plant slightly more than half. This is so rocky, I know not all the seed's going to make contact with the soil, so I'll plant it at a little bit heavier rate, which is always appropriate when you're broadcasting versus drilling. Going to open up a little bit here. That way I can control how much I'm pouring in my broadcast. You can easily see all the different sizes. There's 5 different varieties of clover in here, which is awesome. You know, I like blends. If it's wetter or colder, hotter or drier, something will grow better. So I always like blends. And different plants have different root structures. It all works together to make a good crop. Now, when you're broadcasting, you can't calibrate as precisely as like when I'm using the drill. And that's okay. I'm going to be spreading and broadcasting, and I know I need to use half the weight in here, and I tend to walk one way, like north and south, and then east and west, trying to plant about half the normal rate, but I give double coverage, which makes sure I don't leave any bare spots. And it's so doggone windy today, I got to kind of figure out how it's spreading. I may have to adjust how I hold my spreader to make sure that the wind isn't blowing it off in the timber. No need of planting in the timber, it's not gonna do well, but I wanna make sure I get all the edges good. So I'm gonna start by going like from this tree right here, working this way. I like to use smaller units to make sure I get good coverage. And I'll stop right here. You can see some sorghum from last year's cover crop. I had an attractive crop in here in the fall, but it's too small to grow a really good crop to feed deer all summer. So I used the sorghum to keep the dirt in place, make sure there's no erosion. I'll stop one more time. I see a couple of winter annual weeds in here. I'm not worried about those, they're gonna die anyway, but I don't see any big grasses or something that's gonna compete all summer with my clover. I do that, turn around and get it to the edge, sight on my tree and go right back. One tip I'll share is the higher you hold the planter, the wider your coverage, and you have to make less trips across the field. You get better distribution that way. I just finished broadcasting the clover. I know I've got good seed to soil contact because recently we used prescribed fire in this whole area and specifically on this food plot to remove last fall's crop. So I've got fairly bare dirt. Seed's gonna make contact with that dirt. It's gonna freeze tonight, crack it open, go over it. Many of those seeds will be covered, and I suspect in a couple of weeks, this will be a green area on top of the mountain. This will be a great turkey hunting spot this spring. Attract deer early next fall, but if we get drier during the summer, the clover's likely gonna lay down, get pretty brown, and we're broadcasting in our fall buffalo blend to make sure we've got an attractant and a food source during the fall hunting season.